You know, I don't ever introduce myself. Six skills that millionaires need to master. Now, if you're frustrated with the amount of things you currently need to learn and you're not sure which order you should put them in, or maybe you've read a ton of books and you feel confused as to what is actually the most important, I'm gonna share with you guys my six that are gonna cut through the noise, get you clear on your action items, and make sure that you build a plan to develop these skills. You know, I was fortunate enough that I had people come into my life, mentors, extremely wealthy and successful and kind mentors that showed me the way to actually build wealth and create an impact. You know, I mean, I started when I was 17 and it wasn't until I was 27. So 10 years of grinding and focus, 3 businesses, 2 failed, one finally on my third. I remember the day I was driving up this highway in my hometown called Von Harvey, and my accountant called me up and he said, "Hey Dan, you want to hear something cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" He goes, "Dude, you've got $1 million." And I was like, "What do you mean I got $1 million?" He's like, "Your business has generated $1 million in retained earnings." And I was like, "Cool." And then he's like, "Yeah, congrats." And I was like, "Awesome." I was like, do other people do this? Like, and that's when he started to share with me that it's actually a very small percent. And you know, this is not an opportunity to brag. It's just many people never break 50,000 in their business in revenue in a year, let alone $250,000, let alone $1 million or a couple million or, you know, 10 million. And I just think not understanding the skills that they've mastered, that I was lucky enough to be taught and spent a lot of time on, okay? I'm not here because anything was given to me. It was repetition, focus, habit, structure, and mentors that held me accountable and really inspired me to behave and act in a bigger way than I even thought possible for myself. That's what I'm gonna share with you in this video. So the first thing is you need to learn how to learn. Okay, first thing you need to learn is actually how to learn. How to learn, unlearn, and relearn. How to become what's called an autodidact. Yes, I said it right, autodidact. Essentially it's a word that means self-learner. And really it's about learning how you learn. I think everybody has a different way of learning. I'm a big fan of being around people and modeling their behavior. Some people like to read books. Other people are very, they learn by doing. But whatever it is for you, first thing you need to learn, and this is what millionaires do, is they learn how to learn. They learn how to self-educate themselves. So no matter what problem gets presented to them, they have an answer or they can find the answer. So that's one. 2 is they learn how to hire, manage, and lead people. You know, I see so many entrepreneurs talking about like, I don't want any employees and I just want a simple business and all these things. And I'm like, why? Like, what's the why don't you want employees? Because it's a headache? It's probably a headache because you never learn the right way to hire people. And maybe you got people on your team that shouldn't be there, or you're not managing them properly, and maybe you're not a good example as a leader. But that's the second skill that really needs to develop and understood and figured out for you so that people feel a sense of belonging and excitement and purpose in working with you in your business. So that's 2. 3 is all about communication. You know, I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, they can bring their cousins or whoever into their team, but they don't know how to develop a plan or a strategy or outcomes, and they don't know how to communicate those things to the team. So they get frustrated because they're like, "You asked me for this," and it's like, "Yeah, but I didn't mean for you to do it now, and you didn't do it right, and why?" You know, and those are all challenges with clear communication. So the more you can dial in your skill, refine your ability to send emails, refine your ability to communicate verbally, refine your storytelling, your presentation style, those are all incredible micro skills to develop to help at a grander scale communicate better within and outwards of your business. So that's 3. 4 is all about thinking big. But here's the key. It's not about thinking big, you know, because there's, you know, a great book called, you know, The Power of Thinking Big. It's about thinking big and holding it. Okay? The best entrepreneurs that I've worked with not only can communicate a big vision, but they're able to hold that long term. Not, I'm excited Monday and on Tuesday I feel like I'm doing the wrong things. It's that constant, ongoing focus on big, okay? And being able to hold that space and keeping that connection with the passion and the vision for your business so that as you interact with people, they feel it. You can't help it. If you meet somebody that just has a big vision for their business and their life, you can't help but feel it. Most people, when I think about millionaires, and it's not really about the number, it's more about the person you got to become to achieve that number. See, that's the crazy part. People think, well, you're all about money. It's like, I'm not about money. I'm about you doing the work to become the person who achieves that result. And I know that the person that goes from, small, medium, large to big company, they're different people along the way. They're different skill sets they need to develop, and it pushes you. Entrepreneurship is the ultimate personal development program, right? If you want to increase your revenue in your business, go look in the mirror and ask yourself these questions. How am I doing on these 6 skills to really progress and learn as an entrepreneur? So the fourth thing is you need to think and hold big thoughts, okay? Keep those in your mind ongoing. The fifth thing is understand numbers. Many entrepreneurs, when I talk to them, they would rather just not learn about how to read the financial statements. They don't want to understand it. They don't feel like they have to do it. And I'm telling you, if you want to become a great entrepreneur, you need to be able to pull a P&L. You need to be able to understand how to read your financials. And you've got to be able to ask your accountant. Your accountant's job is not to run your business. If you don't spend the time with your accountant, with another entrepreneur that knows how to read financials, if you haven't read the book Simple Numbers by Greg Crabtree, go get it, read it, understand it. It's just something that it comes either through a bad situation or through progressive learning. You either decide to learn it or you're going to be forced to learn it, but I guarantee there's no entrepreneur that's ever built company at scale that didn't learn how to read the numbers, because at the end of the day, nobody else is accountable for that. They might be accountable for reporting, making sure everything's put in the right box, but they're not accountable for how those numbers are performing over time. That's your job as the entrepreneur. The 6th skill that I want to share with you is, and one of my favorite things, and look, as an introverted type developer, technical person, when I started off, I taught myself how to code at 17. I didn't want to talk to people. The 6th skill is learning how to sell. How do you communicate through your verbal words, through written word, through presentations, through storytelling? How do you learn how to sell? Sell your ideas, sell your vision, sell your product, sell somebody on joining your team, sell an investor on investing in your company. At the end of the day, the way I think about sales is it is the transfer of enthusiasm. If you don't learn how to communicate, it doesn't mean you have to be over the top and loud and crazy, like me. You just have to learn how to communicate a vision that's clear, concise, and there's structure to selling that gets people comfortable. And how do you ask questions that gives you the answers of maybe some of the objections that they might having, and then gives you the opportunity to potentially overcome them just because you forgot to say something. A lot of people think selling is about, trying to con somebody else or get somebody to buy something they don't need, and it couldn't be further from the truth. The way I think about it is I want to serve, and my responsibility to my clients is to figure out how do I communicate what I'm doing so that they understand it. Many times founders just don't know how to communicate it, and they're confusing their market. They're confusing their clients, and then they don't buy and they wonder why. It's because you haven't spent the time learning the art and craft of selling. And to grow a big business, to become a millionaire, it's part of the game. So real quick, those 6 skills are: 1, you need to learn how to unlearn, become an autodidact, read books, get around people, learn how you learn. 2nd, it's all about the people. How do you hire, manage, and lead those people? 3rd is to communicate clearly a plan, a strategy, the actions, and hold people accountable to that. 4 is to think big and hold the space and keep your mind focused on that big vision and don't lose it. 5 is to know how to read your numbers so that you can see if somebody's taking advantage of you. You can understand if you're actually making profit, not just revenue. And then 6, I want you to really spend the time to develop your sales chops. That is my ask of you, is to spend your time on those 6 skills and then report back below in the comments. Let me know which one of those do you feel you got to spend the most time on to really become a bigger and better entrepreneur. Again, look in the mirror if you're not where you're at, because that investment in yourself is how you're going to grow your business. With that, I hope this video finds you incredibly well, and I'll see you next Monday. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel for other videos on developing your skills as an entrepreneur. I'd also invite you to join my newsletter where I send out free training, exclusive contests, and other private events. And also, if you want to get going, I got 2 videos ready for you right now, and I'll see you next Monday. Cheers.